have a very important person joining us, Mr. Thomas Kiva, who is the CEO of Community Associations Institute, all the way from the USA. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Thomas Kiva. He has some very interesting closing remarks to give us. Hi, Thomas. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful today, Harsha. How are you?
I'm very happy, as you can see from my smile. We've had a terrific conference. We've had over 500 delegates from 39 countries joining us at this
Oh my
conference.
goodness.
Yes, so we're very excited about how iRecognize Global has been today, and we are super excited. And I would like to make this announcement yet again that we're going to Dubai, 9th December 2021, hopefully in a physical event, and we would need all your support and encouragement in that as well.
Oh, that's very exciting. I'm very hopeful it's going to be a physical event by December. And looking forward to spending my usual week in Dubai.
Absolutely, and we always have such a wonderful time hosting you. So we look forward.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to hand this over to you, Thomas, so that you can take this forward. And I will come back for my vote of thanks. But over to you for now.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Harsha. And good morning, everyone. It's actually morning where I am in the U.S. In fact, I'm the only person up in my household this morning. You've had a great day of thoughtful, knowledgeable presentations from incredible experts in the field on a wide variety of technical and operational topics. And every one of those is critical to the success of a manager in community housing or a facilities person or whatever the element of the profession that you practice in community association housing. All of these topics are really typical, are really critical and really important, and ones that you have to spend a lot of time understanding and becoming knowledgeable about. But I want to finish the presentations today, the last 15 or 20 minutes, talking about the single most important thing that should be on your learning agenda and your planning agenda that you haven't talked about at all today. And that's you. You as a professional, you as added value in your companies, in your communities. And are you putting as much time and energy into thinking about your career, thinking about your future, planning your future, as you do about learning about technology and AI, as you do about learning about building systems, as you do about learning about the laws governing communities in whatever country you practice in? And I would argue that most of us don't do that. We tend to focus on those technical, operational topics that are important to our jobs, and we don't necessarily think about the other job we have, which is planning and building our career. So I want to talk about that this morning, and I'm going to leave you with three specific thoughts about it. But let's back up 1 second. I want you to think about demand for the job that you do. Here in the United States, we have about 350,000 communities, and they can be very small with 2 homes or four homes. They can be very, very large. Some of the largest communities in the United States have more than 20,000 individual homes within them. But every year, we add about 4,000 new communities to the industry. Developers are building and launching 4,000 new communities a year and adding to that total. Obviously, when you look at that, you look at a growing book of potential business. We look at world population. In any country you look at around the world, population continues to increase. So the jobs that we all do are ones that are going to be here. They're going to be here, and they're going to continue to grow. And we need to think about that. But even more importantly, think about the value of what the services that you provide are, what the professional services that you provide to your clients are. And I would make the argument that we've learned an important lesson from COVID, and it's the same lesson we learned from the global financial crisis back in 2008 and 2009. And that is, in times of stress, in times of difficulty for residential real estate, for communities, the services that you provide are even more valuable than they are when things are well, when things are good. Great managers make tough decisions. Great managers make communities better. Great managers make the values in communities go up. And what are the times that those processes and challenges are the greatest? When the communities, when the real estate market, when our world is in crisis, as it has been over the past year, as it was in 2008 and 2009 during the GFC. The best managers perform best and deliver the most value when times are challenging. So thinking about that, what does that translate into when it comes to your career? And I think this is really where a lot of us as professionals, it's not just community managers, real estate managers, it's everyone who's in a profession sometimes misses an important factor. So before I came to CAI, I worked for a large international consultancy, and I hired and trained and mentored hundreds of young professionals who came into our business. And one of the things I told them when I hired them, and I reminded them every year during our annual review and annual planning process, is you need to own, as a professional, you need to own your career and your plan for success. We as a company are going to spend a lot of time and a lot of money on helping you do that, but no one cares about it. No one will ever care about it, maybe with the exception of your mother. Well, no one will care about it more than you should. So if you believe, and I used to tell these young people, if you believe that there's a skill set that you need to be more valuable to us as a company, you need to come tell me that. You need to walk into your annual planning process with a list of, hey, these are the 3 classes I want to take this year. This is the skill set I feel like I need to develop the most. This is an opportunity to learn a new topic, learn a new skill that I haven't had yet that I want to have, whether it's through a training program or whether it's through a client experience, a customer experience. So that's point number 1 I want you to think about today is, what's your level of ownership of your career and your career trajectory, and what's your plan on getting there? Because if you haven't given that as much thought and attention and structure, and if you haven't written it down like you have, I want to learn these 76 new Microsoft tools, it's not going to be as important to you. It's never going to rise to the same level of value if you haven't planned for it. So that's advice number 1 in terms of building your career and building you as a professional. The second thing I would offer you this morning is, one of the critical success factors is to build your network, not just in your company. And that's obviously an important place to start. You want to have a good mentor. You want to have people that you can bounce ideas off of. But what I've discovered in this industry as it relates to community associations is that the vast majority of what managers do, what facilities people do, whatever your element in serving community residential living, the differences from country to country around the world are minimal. They're basically the same job. The laws are a little different. The terminology is frequently very different, but the job is the same. I can take a manager from Dubai, and in a very short time, they can be practicing and running communities in Miami, Florida, or in Sydney, Australia, or in Johannesburg, South Africa, because the reality is the job is very, very similar. So when you think about your network, all those peers, all those resources, all those thought leaders, the canvas for that is not just your company, it's not just even the city that you practice in or the country that you practice in, but it can literally be the entire world. And we've seen it in the last 10 years grow dramatically. So, I mean, we had, you met Jeevan DeMello earlier today. Jeevan is the first international representative on CAI's board of trustees. I've traveled all over the world, literally millions of miles in the last decade, talking to managers, speaking at events, partnering with other organizations like CAI in other countries like Australia and New Zealand. And the vast majority of the business, the job is the same. So make sure you're building that network wherever it might present an opportunity, because you never know when your next job opportunity, when your next career twist and turn is going to lead you there. Or simply, there may be somebody who solved the problem that you have this morning that you're facing as you sit at your desk. They've solved that problem already because it's been going on in their community or in their city or in their country for years, and they've got solutions for it. And they also know what doesn't work, so you can learn from that. Now, obviously, you can't go and meet every one of these people in person. It'd be lovely if you could. But there are ways to build that network. We have technology tools. One of the things that CAI does, that's actually one of our most popular member benefits, is a web resource called CAI Exchange, where you can post a question or an issue or a topic, and managers from all across the US and all around the world can respond. We frequently have people saying, I'm going out to, to let a contract for HVAC maintenance and services. Does anybody have any ideas? Then the next thing you know, you get 25 RFPs in your inbox from people who've gone out and done that kind of service in the last 6 months. But that network is tremendously beneficial to your career. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing I would encourage you to think about and to give some real consideration to is the entrepreneurial nature of management of communities. And I don't mean that to say everyone needs to go out and start their own management company, because that's not what everyone wants to do, and it's not in everyone's wheelhouse. But by its nature, our profession is very entrepreneurial. It lends itself to an entrepreneurial spirit and approach to your job. And that could be going out and starting your own management company. But it also could be building a niche within the company you already work for. Perhaps I want to build a niche on serving luxury communities, or I want to serve communities that are designed for young families, or whatever it might be. There's still that opportunity to build your own market space, your own market niche, whether it's a company of your own or a segment of the company that you already work for, because you're not going to have to build a factory. You're not going to have to buy inventory. The costs of starting a business in our industry are relatively low compared to many others. The costs of creating a market niche within a company are relatively low when it comes to comparing to other types of businesses. So think about your career, think about your business with that entrepreneurial spirit. And I think you will find that you start to think about your day-to-day job, you start to think about your future, you start to think about your career progression, your career development in a little bit different way. And hey, if that leads you to starting your own business, that's even better, because I think this is an industry that lends itself. One of the things that's been an interesting development in the United States is a tremendous growth in our industry, but a tremendous opportunity for businesses owned and founded by women. About half of the community association management companies here in the US are women-owned business. We have a big event every year for management company CEOs, and we bring together the CEOs of management companies from all across the US and around the world. And that it is invariably half women and half men. There are not a lot of professional services industries where you can say that in the US or around the world. So those resources, those thought processes, owning your career, building a plan for it, building a network of professionals that you can depend on to give you good counsel and good advice and good mentorship, and approaching your career path with an entrepreneurial spirit are all critical things that you can do to work on you, not just to work on your technology, not just to work on your business processes, not just to work on best practices, but to work on your career development in parallel to all those other things. And I think that's really what the biggest benefit of an organization like CAI is. We do an enormous amount of training. I mean, I probably do 7,000 or 8,000 training sessions for managers, whether it's online or in person or virtual or streaming or self-taught in the course of a given year. We do big events. Our annual conference is coming up. We actually moved our conference to later in the year this year with the hope that we will be able to do a live in-person event. If you're interested, we will be in August. We will be meeting in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not that there's any distractions in Las Vegas, but we'd love to have you come and meet 1,000 other managers from around the world. But that's the big advantage I think an organization like ours does, and an organization like Strata Communities in Australia, is to bring great education together, to bring people together, to learn from one another and to build those networks and to explore those opportunities that they have in their careers to enhance their career path and enhance their opportunities for advancement. Wherever you are, wherever you're from, all I can tell you is this is an opportunity. This is a career path. This is a profession that offers tremendous opportunity for growth, tremendous opportunity for advancement, and it's not going to go away. It's only going to continue to grow. The world population continues to grow. The number of communities that exist continue to grow. The demand for housing continues to grow. We see our cities around the world growing. The field continues to expand. In fact, let me give you one great example. We just conducted a survey in the US across all of our management company members of CAI. And in addition to we asked them a lot of questions about their businesses, but one of the questions we asked them was, are you right now, today, actively looking to hire community association managers for your business? 95% of the management companies in the United States have existing searches for new managers going at any given time. The demand for managers is only going to go up, and the demand for managers with professional credentials in the industry. In our case, in CAI's case, it's our certified manager of community associations working up to our top level credential, the PCAM, or professional community association manager. If you have those credentials, you literally can choose to go work wherever you want to work around the world, because those credentials and the education that goes along with them and the experience that goes along with them will get you in the door anywhere you'd like to work. And I'll give you one example before I finish. In the US, in the military in the United States, a typical military officer changes commands every 2 years. So every 2 years, they're packing up their house and they're moving somewhere else. And this has nothing to do with the military, but it just so happens I met a woman who was the wife of a commander in our Navy in the United States. So she had been in community association management for 10 years, which meant she had moved from one city to another 5 times over this 10-year period. She had worked on her career. She had developed her plan. She had done all the things I've talked about. She had achieved her PCAM credential. The longest she was unemployed in each of those moves, five times in 10 years, was 4 days. In almost every case, she was able to apply for a job and interview for that job by phone or over the web, and have a job before she actually packed up her old house and moved to her new city. And that is, frankly, one of the biggest advantages of this profession and of this industry for every one of you who's a young professional. This is incredibly portable. If you want to move and come to the States and work for a couple of years, you can do that. If you want to go to South Africa and work for a couple of years and experience that, you have that opportunity. I have members of CAI from the U.S. who have actually gone to Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Oman and worked there for several years as part of their life experience. This is an industry and an opportunity that has tremendous potential, tremendous opportunity, and particularly for folks who are young and perhaps don't have families and aren't quite as tied as they might be to wherever they are living right now. What an opportunity to see the world as well as see multiple cultures and multiple places to live. One I regret not having when I came out of school back in the dark ages. So each of you take the time to make that plan. Take the time to make sure you're building that network at events like this, at physical events, online, however you can do it. And be the entrepreneur of your own career. And that's the best advice I can give you to being successful in our industry. Yeah, you got to learn all the technical stuff, and I think that's really cool. And I can certainly spend a whole day playing around and learning about AI. But when it comes to your success, you have to be the author of that success. I wish you well. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as Harsha said, I hope to see everybody in person in December in Dubai. Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today.
Thank you so much, Thomas. I think it's incredible. I think the statistics that you shared, the opportunity for professional community management is definitely a very hopeful thing. And I'm sure we can take this around the world and get more people trained to practice this very, very mobile, portable skill that they can develop through the help of the courses that CAI offers.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us at such an inconvenient time, but I'm glad this live. Thank you.
My pleasure, and thank you for inviting me, Harsha.
Thank you. You take care, Thomas. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.